So this leper bows down. He's undeserved. He doesn't need to be there, but he comes to Jesus. And Jesus let him. Jesus allowed him to come and approach him. And here's what happens. Jesus does not condemn him. Jesus did not say, hey, what are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here. Go get yourself together and then come here. Jesus does not judge the man. Jesus does not make the man feel belittled or not enough or not good enough. This is how Jesus is. He's welcoming. He opens his arms and receives this man that they're both breaking the rules. It's kind of interesting. So Jesus is welcoming. And what I see here is that Jesus is able to see beyond the appearance of this man. Everybody, when they look at this man, they see all the scars, they see all the skin disease, they see what is obvious. They see that this man is contaminated, that this man is sick, and this man is rejected, this man is an outcast. This man has been marginalized by the establishment, but Jesus sees beyond that. Jesus sees into his heart. Jesus sees that this man is deeply yearning to be made whole. And Jesus embraces him. Jesus welcomes him because Jesus does not reject. Jesus is welcoming. So what we see here is that Jesus turns it all upside down. He does what he's not supposed to do. Jesus is not supposed to relate to this man. Jesus is not supposed to even be close to this man. But Jesus allows this man to get close to him. Now watch this. This man is allowed to get close to Jesus before he can even be healed. Before he can even be cleansed. I wonder what would happen in our churches if we allowed more people that are contaminated to come in before they can get healed. I wonder what would happen if we are more welcoming. I think it would be amazing. I think the same thing that happened with Jesus and this man would happen in our churches today. But I love this about Jesus, that he's welcoming. And it was his love that actually moved Jesus to be able to embrace the man. In fact, the typical mentality was, hey, if this man gets too close to you, Jesus, you can get contaminated. And that's the mentality of a lot of people today. Hey, you can't hang around with people that are sinners because you're going to get contaminated. When in reality, Jesus said, hey, I didn't come to the well, I came to the sick. It's the sick that needs a doctor. And so Jesus turns the rules upside down. He shows what his real heart is. He shows what the real heart of God is. It's a welcoming heart. It's a loving heart. It's a heart that is motivated by doing good to someone else. He's not, what Jesus is saying is, love is better than the law. And what he's showing us is that if you operate on love, you're going to do some things that goes beyond the written law. See, a lot of these people, Pharisees and Sadducees, some of the religious leaders, they were caught up in the letter of the law, but they had missed the spirit of the law. See, Jesus was showing the heart of the law. Jesus was showing the heart of God, and these people had lost the heart of God because they were so caught up in right and wrong and rules and how to keep them and when to keep them. Now, I'm not saying rules are not good, but I'm saying some rules operate at a lower level, and Jesus came to turn things upside down. Jesus came to show us that love is better than law. In fact, Dr. Cole taught us that when there's a lot of law, there's a little bit of love. But when there's a lot of love, there's a little bit of law. In other words, Jesus was saying, hey, love is what's important here, and love is welcoming. And this put Jesus in conflict with the religious establishment. This put Jesus in conflict with the religious leaders, and they did not like it because they were saying, we're confused. We don't understand how this guy, Jesus, who does all these miracles, who must be right with God to be able to do all this, is coming and changing things and turning things upside down. They were confused. They were not bad people. They were just stuck in a certain mindset. So Jesus is saying there's a better way. And the best way is to love people and welcome people. Have open arms in order to be able to receive people into the family of God. And when you think about it, Jesus said, hey, it doesn't matter if people are broken. It doesn't matter if people are unclean. It doesn't matter if people have been traumatized. And guess what? When you open your heart to receive the broken, to receive the contaminated, to receive those that have been outcast and rejected by the establishment, when you open your heart to receive these people, it could be messy. It could be messy. But guess what? It's the best way. It's the highest way. It's the way of the heart of God. And it will produce the best result. Now, think about it for a minute. What did God do for you when he opened his arms to embrace you? I know when God opened his arms to embrace me, he embraced a broken young guy. He embraced a young man that had been traumatized by life. He embraced someone who was unclean, and he embraced someone who was confused and broken. And he did that before I committed myself to him. So what Jesus is doing for this leper is exactly what Jesus has already done for you and me. It's the same thing. Jesus is welcoming, even for those that are broken, even for those that are unclean. See, I used to think, in fact, before I committed my life to Christ, I visited a church with my parents, and the pastor talked to me at the end of the service. And he said, why don't you start coming to church and, be involved with the youth and everything? And I told him, well, you don't want me here, and I'm a mess. And I told him, when I get it right, when I get myself right, then I'll start coming to church. And he looked at me and he said, God welcomes you exactly the way you are. God will open his arms and receive you exactly the way you are. You don't have to do anything. God will do for you. But so here's my point. Jesus is welcoming. Jesus is approachable. It used to be that people would say, well, you can't really be a Christian. You can't really try to get close to God when you're so messed up. And that's not true. That is not true. The reality of things is that you approach God, especially when you're broken and contaminated. And Jesus is welcoming. He doesn't reject us. He doesn't condemn us. He doesn't push us away. He doesn't marginalize us. He actually embraces us.